Hey everyone, yes, I'm back with a movie review. Don't have a heart attack. Final Cut, I know, has been a little bit sparse lately, but I am going more independent. Everybody else can cover those wide release films. I want to cover more of the independent films this year, and so I've got two of them for you from the same director this week. First one we're going to cover is going to be Mental State 2. Now, that's from director Randy Lee Beasley. Now, we reviewed Mental State 1 a while back, and here we get the continuing story of Jim Shearer and his uncle Ron, who now, after the events of the first one, are suffering the consequences of their actions from the first one. And we see how this underground really comes back and bites them on the rear end, and how they really regret the situations that they got themselves into. Though we do still see Jim struggling with his Tourette's syndrome and kind of having a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on with him. And Ron Shearer, played by Rob Romero, we see how he's kind of living the life and enjoying the spoils from what they had, though those spoils get rotten as the film goes on. I will say that the dialogue and the story in this film did not feel quite as sparse as the first one. In the first one, it felt more improv. It felt more loose. This one was a tighter script, I will say, and more tightly written, and the story played out a little bit tighter as well. So they did improve on that from the first one, where this one just felt like more of a solid, more thought-out story. Now, with that, I also still enjoy Randy Lee Beasley's performance in here as Jim Shearer with the Tourette's. He handles that very well, and you can tell he really gets into this character, and he sells this character that has this disability, and his performance is decent in this. So is Rob Romero. We've seen him in a number of films as well, and enjoyed his Ron Shearer. I liked his performance in this one more than the first one, but again, I think that has to do with the fact that they must have had more of a solid script with this one than I think they did with that first film. So overall, this is an improvement to the first one, though again, it is a micro budget, so you do get some of your lower production value in here. Some of the audio in here is just a little bit distracting at times because it is lower quality. They do have a little bit of humor in here, though it is just as dark as the first one. Kind of a running gag involving Jim's apartment, which I found humorous. And in general, I think Mental State 2 was a better film, though if the micro-budget production quality bugs you, you may want to skip it only because you may find those things distracting. I was able to look past that and see that they do have a decent story here. Almost though, you could have probably put one solid movie together between these two, because there did feel just a little bit of padding in the second one as well. I just felt like if they cut out some scenes in this one and in the first one, and they really would have had a really good, fun, underground crime drug film with Mental State 2. But again, if you like micro-budget films and you've seen other Randy Lee Beasley work, you'll definitely enjoy this one, and you should check out Mental State 2. I think it's hitting the festival scene now. Otherwise, for micro-budget films, if the lower production value does distract you, you may want to skip this. And that'll about do it for us here at The Final Cut. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, keep that ticket stub.